You're acting like a toddler, Rick. You are making an enemy out of me.
It's not what I intended.
Parker, man.
Yeah, I'm going out mining on my own. I've got an opportunity, and I'm going to take it.
Jeez.
The cast of Gold Rush are old associates all these years later with a lot of shared history together. However, from among the stars of the show, none have as long a history and friendship as Parker Schnabel and Rick Ness. So, when things got difficult for Rick Ness recently, he knew exactly who to turn to for help.
But it's not, it's not the answer for the season. I need something I can rely on. So I'm going to see Parker right now. I heard he just bought a whole nother mine. It's been a few years. I really don't know what to expect here.
None other than his old boss and good friend, gold mining wunderkind, Parker Schnabel. Team Ness is hard at work, but it becomes apparent that Rick requires more crew members if he wants to hit all of his goals for the season. No one else is coming in, adding a lot of pressure to Morgan Lauren, a new member of the team. Another issue that is adding to the pressure is the shabby state of the equipment. Morgan points out that the work would be completed much faster if they were able to bring in some newer equipment. While she concedes that the old rented loader does run and gets the task done, she hesitates to call it efficient or even fully functional. As she explains the issues with the loader, she reveals that it's missing its front cab. This means that she has been eating a ton of dirt, and the massive, powerful tires have been kicking up a storm of sand and dirt into her face the whole time. This issue sounds mostly humorous until one imagines the danger of consuming that much dirt, not to mention the damage caused to the loader by having a ton of dirt getting into the cab and the controls. As Rick and Morgan work, they make a greater dent in the pile of dirt. However, even with their speed and dedication, soon something goes wrong. Morgan exits her loader in concern and notices that something is very wrong with her vehicle. She quickly exits the loader and hurries over to the loader's side, observing that the machine is leaning over in a very precarious manner. After a quick look, she determines that the leaning is being caused by a flat tire. She pulls out her walkie-talkie and contacts Rick, informing him of her need to shut down the plant because of her loader's flat tire. Rick quickly goes over to the wash plant and stops all activity.
Rick brought down the 750 for me, and we flew the 330 up there to do tailings. As long as we can keep this gold rolling up to the plant, that's the only thing that matters.
This is to save money and energy from a machine that can cost him a ton of money if it is not actively separating gold from dirt at all times. Rick is upset and decides that he needs to do whatever it takes to remedy this problem. Finding a replacement loader or a new tire is his first thought. He drives away in his truck, musing over where he has an old loader stored for such an occasion. However, after some consideration, he decides that the loader he has is not going to be the answer to this current problem, since he needs something he can rely on, not to break down. This is where Rick explains that he heard his old boss, Parker Schnabel, just bought an entirely new mine and it came with a ton of equipment with it. The hope Rick has is that the equipment will have a spare motor somewhere that he can use. While he is hopeful that Parker will be able to solve his problem, he is nervous to speak to him as it has been a couple of years since they had any real conversation.
How you been, bud?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. So you're back.
I'm back.
How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Good.
Yeah.
Rick doesn't know what to expect, but thinks that they'll be able to make a deal. Parker and Rick have a history as deep as any mining operation, having met when Parker hired Rick when he was 17 years old and just starting his career in the gold mining industry. At the time, Parker wasn't the big shot buying multiple million-dollar mines. He had just a small gold claim to his name. However, these early days are critical to the man he would become, and Rick was a crucial component to his success. Rick and Parker worked together and created a deep bond as they rose in experience and achievement those first few years. Rick Ness eventually became Parker's foreman, but not everything was smooth sailing. When their relationship started to get rocky, they said things to each other they couldn't take back. This was a huge turning point for Rick Ness, because he decided that what he really wanted was to strike out on his own. Rick informed Parker that he had received a great opportunity to be his own boss, and he was going to take it, quitting his position as foreman for Parker's crew. It was a difficult parting, and since then, they haven't spoken face to face until today. Rick expresses his excitement to see his old friend again and hopes that Parker will feel the same.
Can you believe that?
How much does that weigh?
That one is 1.54 ounces.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Wow.
There is also the issue of Rick's break from gold mining last year, which he is sure Parker already knows about. He wonders if those rumors will change the reception he gets from his old boss. Parker comes down from his loader and immediately makes a joke as he greets Rick. Rick picks up the joke and they share a big laugh, breaking the tension immediately. It feels as though no time has passed at all as they hug. Parker immediately asks how Rick is feeling now that he's back, showing his concern for his health. In a kind move, Parker tells him that he has always had faith that he would survive the hard times and come right back to the business when he was ready. Rick is vulnerable as he admits that he has struggled recently and that looking back, he thinks his best years were with Parker, as he was more productive back then. Parker admits that when he first started as a gold miner with his own claim, he had no idea what he was doing. They bond over how lost they had been at the beginning and how their golden years were spent together. Rick admits that he learned a lot from his time with Parker and that he feels like he's reclaiming some of that youthful energy they had back then, now that he is back and ready to work. Finally, after their sentimental reunion, Parker asks whether Rick has made his way over to catch up or if there is something he needs. Rick immediately admits that of course, he comes all this way because he needs something and prepares to ask for this big favor. Rick tells him that he needs a loader, and Parker immediately tells him that his team inherited a ton of equipment and guides him over to his truck to take a look at all the equipment. When Parker Schnabel bought the Dominion Creek claim, he also purchased everything that was on it. So any tools and machines left behind were included in the purchase.
Okay, sounds good.
We're gonna put Brennan on that end with the 750. I'm gonna keep chewing away down here with the 480, but I got a feeling he's gonna be catching on me pretty fast.
Parker admits that after buying it, he has not even inspected or cataloged everything that came with it. However, the purchase did include $2 million worth of equipment. Rick hops onto the loader on Dominion Creek and starts it up to test its functionality. The sound of the motor passes their quick inspection, and Rick tries to cut a deal right away for the use of the loader. Parker tells him that there will be no deal. Instead, he tells Rick that he hates talking about money, but he especially hates it when it comes to friends. He tells Rick that he can use it, no deal or money exchange is needed. He instead tells him that they can just work it out in the fall. He elaborates that if Rick hits the mother lode, then he will expect a few ounces of gold as rent, but otherwise they're all good. What Parker says is that if the loader helps him, he's happy to lend it. What he truly wants is for Rick to get back on his feet. This is a very humbling moment for Rick, as he realizes that Parker is a true friend to him, even after all their differences. Parker admits that it is a small gesture, but that he hopes it's better than denying him and not mending bridges out of pettiness. Rick is very thankful to him, and Parker suggests that he comes to pick up the loader when the roads clear up a bit. The difficulty of moving the loader may even necessitate bringing a trailer out to move it, but no one is willing to haul such heavy equipment at this time in the season. The problem of transporting the loader over to Rick's claim is overshadowed by the emotional reunion between the two old friends. When Parker is finally alone, he admits that he was surprised to see Rick again, since they have a lot of unspoken history between them. One thing that he is ruminating over is how Rick mentioned that he gave Parker his best years. To Parker, that sounds like crazy talk, because in his mind, Rick Ness has not even reached his best years in the gold mining industry yet. In Parker's eyes, Rick is still very young, only 42 years old. But he understands that perhaps mentally and emotionally the past few years,
we got to keep the ball rolling, so whatever we got to do, right?
Yeah. The reward there is hopefully 30 feet of pay underneath that, right? And good stuff.
have taken a heavy toll on his old friend. He wishes that things would get better for Rick, and that his small favor will be a step in that direction. In Alaska, Parker Schnabel discovers what may be the richest gold mine. On the next episode of Gold Rush, he claims to have made the most crazy treasure ever. Will this be his greatest win or risk? Stop wasting time and start. Parker Schnabel is overworked managing 2 mines in different countries. He has had initial challenges in Alaska, but gold is bringing growth. His Yukon crew is rushing to mine the massive airfield claim before the season's water license expires. Everything must be stripped and paid for to mine everything left this year. Parker's crew has mined 48 of his 90 airfield acres, including the Keyhole, Easy Street, and Bear Cut. They are using Slucifer to run pay dirt from the 18-acre payback cut to the 24-acre runway cut, the largest and last cut. They must have 5 acres down to pay the next week before restarting Big Red, so it will wait until all the stripping is done. With only 1 wash plant, the runway cut is all hands on deck until stripped, except for 1 crew member. Tyson Lee drives the 750 excavator through the payback cut, while Parker handles the D11 and Mitch removes runway overburden with the 700. Given mounting barriers, staying ahead is a daily battle. Air from the 700 excavator suddenly smells like coolant, indicating difficulties. A broken radiator leaks coolant into the hot exhaust manifold, disrupting their plans. Needing replacement components quickly, Mitch calls Taylor. Tyson then departs his 750, leaving him with 480, reducing his ability to transfer Slucifer money. With just 480 digging paid, they risk running out of pay dirt and having nothing to process. Reducing the feed rate reduces gold flow, but it's better than shutting down the plant. With Slucifer decreased and Big Red off, mining all 90 acres is less likely. Crews are removing heavy dirt from the runway cut.
Tyson, do you have a copy? Tyson? Hey, there's a huge build-up in the pre-wash. I don't know what to do.
I'll get it.
They're loading it out without a place to transport it since it's late in the year to open 20 feet of dirt. Parker's crew is racing to clear the 24-acre runway cut to feed Big Red wash plant. Big Red waits on a mountain to wash rocks. If they had pay dirt now, it would work. Tyson is in a tough spot after taking the 750, but opening the ground is crucial to avoid leaving a lot of gold. Tyson is digging for cash to feed Slucifer in the 480, while Mitch's 700 excavator is being repaired. He has reduced Slucifer's feed rate and hopes not to make more changes, but Big Red comes first. However, Taylor arrives with wonderful news. The 700 radiator has been changed and is ready. This should restore their momentum. This machine has transported tons of soil and paying dirt to the wash facility. Tyson can feed Slucifer 220 yards per hour with the 750 back in service. They can process more pay dirt and extract more gold. The 750's return is a big relief, allowing normal operations. Parker's sole wash facility is back online, promising a better season finale. Mitch Blaschke is under pressure to move pay dirt at Parker Schnabel's Indian River claim before the season expires. Both Big Red and Slucifer wash plants operate 24/7, making feeding them essential. Mitch moved Evan, a young passionate rock truck driver, to loader operator to boost output. However, a big issue abruptly halts their progress. Evan finds many large pebbles in the sluice runs, forcing Big Red to stop. Big Red is down, so no gold being processed or money is coming in, but expenses are rising. Big Red must be fixed and working again when needed. Mitch and Tyson quickly discover a blown-out screen deck portion. Huge rocks in sluice runs indicate a large hole in the screen, which filters larger pebbles from finer pay dirt. Huge pebbles clog the opening runs when the screen breaks. Interrupting water flow prevents the guns from catching gold and washes away the sluice box end. The team tackles the tricky screen repair.
The other end of that goes right into the generator head, and it's cooked right off. I mean, you know, this is the engine. This is what powers.
Mitch says the material they're processing is quite sharp and aggressive. This caustic substance slowly erodes tiny screens, cutting them. The damaged screen is removed and replaced with a new one, fastened in place. The screen deck connection is crucial to gold mining. Screens separate larger boulders from finer pay dirt, allowing gold-rich material to be collected. Breaking screens lets big rocks fall through and clog sluice channels. This clog prevents the water from flowing properly, preventing the riffles from catching the gold, which washes out of the sluice box and is lost. Big Red needs to fix the screen to keep processing pay dirt efficiently. Mitch, Tyson, and the crew quickly fix the damage, emphasizing the screen deck's value. With the new screen, the crew restarts Big Red. The effective repair brings relief and satisfaction. Evan's rapid diagnosis saves the squad a lot of gold, proving his value. Over $90,000 is worth 51.6 ounces of runway cut gold. Running Big Red for a week might net $500,000 in gold. Slucifer has been efficient, digesting the chopped dirt and generating 336.05 ounces of gold, worth over $600,000. Parker's team is optimistic because both plants are running well. They appreciate being at the end of their huge mining activity and the effort required to move the wash plants. The crew wants to maximize the season and leave no gold behind as they reach the finish. Parker Schnabel's mining operation is running, but new challenges are straining the workers. Mitch Blaschke is carefully processing a lot of pay dirt from Parker's Indian River claim before the season ends. Mitch has shifted Evan, a young, energetic crew member, from rock truck to loader to help meet demand at Big Red and Slucifer wash plants, which are open 24/7. Despite these achievements, Parker adds a major task. Parker intends to establish a new operation in Alaska's Yukon in 3 weeks, with both wash plants working well in the bear cut and delivering over 1,800 ounces of gold.
Big moment! This is what we've been waiting for and working on all day, buddy. Let's do it.
The season's success depends on both plants working, as over half the area cleared, covering 4 million square feet. Mitch Blaschke must free up more land, including the Panama Canal Cut, a 10-acre cut. Mitch must dig up the only road connecting the camp to the current cutting and build a new road while maintaining critical access to the mine site after hitting frozen pieces and ice on the lone road to the camp. As they start this project, they discover the earth is frozen, aggravating the issue. Tyson informs Mitch that too many projects have left them without soil for the night shift. Parker's frequent plan modifications cause tension, but Mitch's crew is determined to finish the last 350 feet of the new road. They connect the new road just in time, allowing cars to dump pay dirt. With the new road, they can pile dirt and run wash machines. Parker's staff is under pressure to maximize gold production with limited time and resources. Machinery runs at maximum capacity as trucks load coarse tailings. Parker's all-or-nothing decisions push the crew. In 12 hours, they finish the road, enabling vital wash plant access. Mitch examines Parker's bold strategy, knowing that gold miners cannot hold gold underground. Justin and Tyson contend with frozen pay dirt impeding gold recovery in the machine. Cold spring weather makes the permafrost refuse to thaw. The frozen substance makes stripping and hauling difficult, despite their best efforts. Mitch agrees to temporarily shut down the plant to melt and strip after discussing the issue. Though risky, they believe it's necessary to maximize gold recovery over time. By freeing up labor and resources, they aim to strip more efficiently when the weather improves. The workforce prepares to melt and strip as the facility closes, knowing that their success depends on their ability to respond to challenges. They take the risk with drive and teamwork, knowing it will pay off. Parker's decision to cease operations on Big Red because of financial worries.
There you go. That's dead nuts. I just need a rock. Yukon hammer.
Is a deviation from their usual 24/7 running plan once sluicing begins. Parker takes this smart risk due to rising fuel costs and the need to boost income. Parker hopes postponing the wash plant will allow his staff to strip more land and expose it to the sun to thaw. The success of this strategy depends on good weather, which Parker is willing to risk. Nona Lovelace, the office manager turned heavy equipment operator, uses the 73-ton D10 dozer to cut through the deep permafrost. The frozen ground makes mining difficult, but Nona's passion drives her to go. Nona thinks mining is fun since you can overcome obstacles like permafrost. Due of permafrost's harshness, the D10 dozer's blade peels up, stopping progress. Big Red's downtime is compounded by this setback, placing pressure on the team to fix it soon. Technician Smith and welder Dan Colon rush to repair the D10 dozer and restore service. Their efforts show the gravity of the situation, as every moment missed means lost cash. After the suspended pay downtime, the crew resumes operations with relief and worry, despite the shortcomings. They made over $290,000 in gold during the shortened week. While this is a break, Parker knows their situation is terrible. With so much soil to process, any more delays could hurt the season. Parker Schnabel is meticulously planning to capitalize on a potentially successful pay streak with the 4-acre wolf cut on the other side of the claim. Parker wants to deliver 1,000 ounces of gold this season, so he needs to efficiently access the pay dirt, which is 30 feet underground. The crew must remove 100,000 yards of overburden to reach gold-rich soil. The approaching season makes this duty urgent and requires careful planning and hard work. The group meets many hurdles along an old dredge pond, made worse by the flooding. Parker realizes the muddy conditions are making things harder. He warns about big machinery getting bogged in the mud and stresses the significance of careful maneuvering to avoid problems. Michael Baudry, a new crew member, keeps calm despite the obstacles. Michael brings tenacity and perseverance from past adversity to the group, ready to tackle any challenge.
There with a chain on the excavator, get it up on dry ground so we could work on it. It must have shut off or the silt got in there and plugged it up.
Water escaping melting permafrost complicates excavating. This unforeseen event floods the cut with pond water, threatening their efforts. Parker and his staff plan to manage rising water levels after realizing the problem. They installed a sump pump to regulate water flow and prevent floods, allowing them to control the dig site. Parker perseveres to maximize the wolf cut's potential and ensure no gold extraction is missed. Mark cleverly floated the pump on old pontoons to prevent flooding. It's a race against time to rescue the season and keep the money flowing. Mitch is stressed with only 5 days to launch Lucifer. Summer seems to fly by. Mitch places Slucifer in a 30-ton pad and installs the super stacker for speedy pay dirt processing to meet Parker's deadline. Getting everything ready for surgery is a race against time. The crew races to finish Slucifer before Parker arrives from Alaska after repairing the super stacker. As they board the 120-foot super stacker, nervousness grows. However, it elevates and hits the free wash, marking a major goal. Parker is closer to digging out the 90-acre airstrip and starting his Alaska enterprise with 2 wash plants. Despite challenges, the team is determined to keep the gold flowing. An unexpected conveyor blowout halted production, but Parker's crew quickly restored it. Big Red continued to extract gold from the Easy Street cut, securing revenue. Chris detailed their earnings, showing a considerable increase over last year. Having the super stacker at the cut is a big step toward making Slucifer operational. Mitch and his colleagues work hard to cover every detail because failure could slow them down. The conveyor plug occurrence shows that mining always has obstacles. Parker's quick thinking and the team's resourcefulness allow them to solve the problem swiftly, demonstrating their flexibility to unexpected conditions. The crew's recent successes and future prospects keep them upbeat despite their problems. When they hit 1,500 ounces for the season, they feel accomplished. Parker warns them that the Alaska operation is coming up.
Hustling.
You got it pumping, huh?
Yeah. The more you start revving it, the faster it goes, but the chance of it blowing up gets a lot better.
The crew knows their success depends on their ability to stay focused and go forward under difficult conditions. Parker and his team are driven by purpose. Despite challenges, they are committed to a record-breaking season. Mud pits and equipment failure have plagued Parker Schnabel and his gold hunting team. They persevered through determination and resourcefulness, showing their unrelenting commitment to success. Parker's leadership and hands-on attitude have helped the team overcome mining's complexity and create confidence in their ability to succeed. Parker remains certain that the work will be beneficial as they open new cuttings and push through the toughest terrain. Parker Schnabel's gold search is looking good with a new Alaska operation and promising results. Do you like this content? Subscribe and follow us for more.
I just get a feeling there's more gold here. The way this material is piled up in here, I think the best stuff that there is could be at this corner.
The highly entertaining gold rush is all cutthroat gold mining and determination by some of the best miners in the industry. The compelling series takes us to see how Rick Ness has struggled to bounce back and take hold of his business, but things are off to a rough start. However, with Buzz on the scene and working with Rick, things may take a turn for the better for both men. Buzz Legault is driving a rock truck with great skill, but it isn't at the side of his longtime boss, Fred. Instead, he is driving through an unknown road when suddenly something unexpected stops his truck's movement. He responds quickly to this malfunction and begins pulling over and exiting the vehicle to search for the reason behind his unwanted delay. As Buzz examines the rock truck, he first has the suspicion that something was wrong with the tires. As he walks around the truck, he mutters to himself in annoyance and explains how much he dreads to think something could be wrong with the rock truck's transmission. If the transmission is no longer working, the Ness crew can kiss any ideas of using the ancient rock truck for their work goodbye. It is humbling to see how even Buzz, with all his skill and knowledge of this equipment, is not arrogant or uncaring when faced with the need to fix what's wrong with this dozer. Buzz is fearless as he crouches under the rock truck and examines the undercarriage carefully for the reason of its error. His careful examinations soon pay off when he notices that a couple of joints holding the drive shaft in place has been shorn off. The hard terrain and dangerous Alaskan paths can sometimes damage the vehicles with the rough environment and impact jarring the delicate parts of the machine. This is a huge issue because if Buzz cannot fix this, he will be completely out of a job. Not to mention how Rick will lose out on a ton of money if he isn't able to get back to sluicing gold. When someone's livelihood depends on their tools, this kind of error can be devastating. This entire ordeal has been extremely frustrating for Buzz since he has just finished fixing this problem with this rock truck, and now he has to readdress the problem for a second time. This is the downside of working with out-of-date machines.
It blew up pretty hard. You can see right here. I can put my hand inside the motor. And here's what's left of our piston. It exploded.
They constantly require maintenance that is time-consuming and expensive. Of course, the bright side of this situation is that Buzz knows exactly what to do to fix it. He explains that if the drive shaft is not connected to the rear end, then the truck will not move. His first challenge is to get his hands on the necessary parts and put everything back together. A time-consuming task when the team is under a lot of time constraints this gold mining season. Another issue with fixing this recurring problem is that it's a two-man job, meaning the necessity of pulling someone else away from their work. Of course, when one person in the chain is affected, so are the rest of the crew. This will only set them all back even more, cutting into the little time they have to mine the gold needed for the season. For this reason, Buzz decides to ask the camp's cook for help. Here we meet Travis, who is seen picking up some busted U-bolts that are needed to hold the drive shaft in place, allowing for the power from the motor of the dozer to arrive at its destination in the front and back tires. Travis is happy to present these bolts to Buzz, and they immediately get to planning their next moves. Working together, they head over to the rock truck, and Buzz pulls apart the drive shaft, and they quickly replace the broken bolts with the new ones Travis has collected. The rock truck's engine gives power to the rear wheels, but the problem is that they have found that half the bolts have shattered somewhere along the way. The drive shaft is now totally out of alignment and unable to feed energy to the tires, meaning that the rock truck cannot move even an inch in this condition. Even if moving the truck was an option, it would be unwise to do so, as it would only damage the delicate drive shaft further, denying them the chance to fix it and keep working. As Buzz and Travis work under the rock truck, they identify that one of the bolts they used as a replacement is not the right style and that it went into the wrong hole. This realization has forced them to replace the new bolts all over again before they damage the inside of the drive shaft. The incorrect bolt has already cut the threading inside the drive shaft.
It looks like now we've got one that's wrong bolt in the wrong hole, so
Buzz has to re-thread the hole so they can replace the bolt with a factory-approved piece. This setback has Buzz clearly upset because this has been a careless and amateurish mistake. His bad mood does not stop them from fixing the drive shaft, even if it takes longer than planned. As Buzz climbs back into the rock truck, he tests the engine once more. Everyone relieved when the rock truck seems to be moving even smoother than before. Rick Ness sees Buzz heading his way inside the old rock truck and is glad to see that they are getting back to their schedules. It becomes apparent that he was aware there was an issue while he was busy at work. However, when Buzz and Rick greet each other, Rick says he doesn't even want to know what was wrong with the rock truck in the first place, since he is just relieved Buzz appeared in time to fix the issue and help out. Buzz jumps right to work as Rick finishes the last of his stockpile. With the rock truck running smoothly again, Buzz will start hauling pay dirt and helping Rick reach his gold ounce goals for the season. Back in Rick's own dozer, he can be heard giving Buzz his flowers and expressing how happy he is with how the situation was handled by Buzz. Rick is particularly impressed by Buzz's ability to problem solve and get back to work so quickly. His achievement of both transporting and fixing this old equipment, as well as his ability to think ahead, convinces Rick that Buzz is the kind of guy he wants around. The Ness crew is back at camp after Buzz fixed the old rock truck, and Rick has begun to work on the second stockpile. He has been able to keep the plant running the whole week. They all relax with some drinks, and Rick tells Buzz that coming from Fred, he did not have much hope. He also comments how much he appreciates all Buzz has done, since he was able to get that old truck running for them against all odds.
There is pressure here. There's no doubt about that, especially just being two of us. But for the amount of work that had to be done, Z and I made quick work of it and got this plant fired up.
And he hopes they will be able to see some gold come out of those efforts. Rick explains that while he does not know everything that went on over in Fred's camp, he does know that they were not having a lot of luck gold mining out there. Rick then asks Buzz what he would think of coming over to his crew. Buzz is extremely moved and sounds choked up when he laughs and says that it would be like leaving hell behind and to having so much more with Rick's team. He explains what he means with his next statement, claiming that in all his time working for Fred, he has barely made enough money to cover his personal expenses. With that emotional offer out of the way, the Ness crew gets back to business and weighs out the gold they have managed to squeeze out of the inhospitable land. To cover all his costs, Rick Ness needs at least 20 ounces of gold a week. As they measure out the gold, they arrive at a final weight of 23.8 ounces of gold, which equals a total of $46,000, bringing them a few ounces over their needed weight. They are delighted by the final weight, and Buzz mentions this may be his biggest haul of his life, commenting how it's well over the biggest haul Fred's crew ever managed to achieve. Rick sees this as a great start for them and assures Buzz that they have only just begun. He quickly calculates that altogether they have brought in around 65.2 gold ounces so far this week. Rick expresses that he is very happy with what they have achieved this week, and that all he needs is to keep bringing in more gold to put into the bank. He elaborates on his future plans, telling the crew that he intends to hire more crew and get more machines to cover more ground and acquire more gold. He explains that with the crew's help, he sees this dream being within reach.
I am. Look at that nugget right there.
Oh, buddy.
It looked really good.
As Rick stands, he tells the crew he wants to make Buzz's entrance into the team official. He hands over some dark t-shirts to Buzz with the crew's name on it, officially marking him as a new member. Thank you for watching until the end. Make sure to comment down below what you think of Rick's $46,000 gold haul and what your favorite part was. If you would like to keep up with this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on.